Hello and welcome to Investing in Your Future. My name is Jessica Medina, and I am a Senior Assistant Director at the Financial Aid Office here on campus.
Today we're going to be covering the philosophy of financial aid, the different types of financial aid that's available at USC, how we determine financial aid eligibility, and most importantly, how to apply for financial aid.
Now, in regards to the philosophy of financial aid at USC. In partnership with the university, most families will make a USC education possible by taking advantage of a variety of options that we have available to families. First is merit-based aid, and we'll go over what each item is throughout the presentation today. Next is need-based aid. We also offer payment plans and private financing available to our families.
Now, here are the different sources of financial aid. The first one being the federal government. Federal government gives out federal Stafford loans, which we will talk about, federal Pell Grant, work study. The state government is mostly known for their Cal Grant, which we'll talk about how those of you who are California residents, how you can apply for that. Colleges and universities like USC, we give out merit and need-based grants and scholarships. And then there's outside agencies as well that will help fund your USC education.
Now, the four different sources that Andrea just mentioned fund the different types of financial aid, and there's two different types. There's merit-based aid and need-based aid. Merit-based aid is, of course, based on merit or some type of special talent. The thing you want to keep in mind with USC is that the merit-based aid is specifically given out by the admissions office. All you have to do is submit your admission application prior to December 1st, and you will automatically be considered for a full, a half, or a quarter tuition scholarship. If you are deemed eligible for those scholarships, you will be notified sometime between February and March, and we will invite your student to come on campus and actually interview for the full or the half tuition scholarship. Now, in regards to need-based aid, that's where the financial aid office comes into play. You will need to apply for need-based aid, which you would have to submit the financial aid application, and we will go over that a bit later in the presentation. You can receive a grant from our office, which is a university grant, and that's money that is directly given out from our office. Within that financial aid award letter will also be a loan, and that's a federal Stafford loan. It can be a combination of a subsidized Stafford loan and an unsubsidized Stafford loan. Subsidized meaning that there's no interest actually accruing on the loan the entire time that the student is enrolled in school, at least 6 units or more. And repayment on that loan would begin 6 months after graduation, and at that point, the interest would also start accruing on that subsidized Stafford loan. Now, in regards to the unsubsidized Stafford loan, the interest is accruing immediately, and repayment does not need to be started until 6 months after graduation. Another thing that would also be included within the financial aid award letter is work study. Work study allows a student to obtain a job on campus. He or she would receive a paycheck every 2 weeks, depending on the amount of hours that they work within those 2 weeks. And most students either get a job within the school that they're actually attending or in some office on campus.
Okay, besides the scholarships that are awarded through the Office of Admission, there are other USC-affiliated scholarships available on campus. So we encourage all students to visit the website listed on the screen, usc.edu/scholarships, and look to see through the list there out of all the different departments on campus that are awarding scholarships as well. These scholarships all require a separate application, and they all do have different deadlines. So please, as soon as possible, if you could visit this website and look to see which scholarships you might be interested in applying to.
Now, in regards to need-based aid, the equation listed on the slide is the basic equation that we would use here in our office. We take the annual cost of attendance, we subtract the expected family contribution, which is also on an annual basis, and what that leaves us with is the USC determined financial need. Now, USC has made a commitment to meet that USC determined need with a combination of scholarships, grants, loans, and work study. And then again, also the expected family contribution is based on the analysis of eligibility and verification of the family's income and asset information, which is submitted to us through the entire application process.
Now let's talk about understanding your cost of attendance. Here at USC, we have built in tuition and fees. Tuition is charged at a flat rate amount per semester when you register anywhere between 12 and 18 units. We've also built in books and supplies. This is an estimated amount for the year, as well as an estimated amount for room and board. Room and board consists of a dorm rent on campus, as well as a meal plan or off-campus apartment rent, transportation to and from school, and other personal expenses. If you are interested in increasing this estimated cost of attendance, please visit the financial aid website.
Now, the next part of your equation is the expected family contribution, which again is EFC. The EFC is determined by analyzing your family's financial information, so we take into account both the parent and the student's income, taxable and non-taxable, as well as assets, and we'll get into what we actually include and exclude from both items as well. And we want to mention that there's a difference between the federal methodology and the institutional methodology. The federal methodology uses the FAFSA, which we'll get into in just a little bit later. We use the FAFSA to determine the eligibility for federal student aid, which we already went over a little bit earlier, which can include the federal Stafford loan, work study, or the Pell Grant. Now, in regards to institutional methodology, which most private institutions have their own calculation to calculate that expected family contribution, we use the College Scholarship Service Profile, which the shorthand version for that is CSS Profile, to determine the eligibility for institutional need-based aid, which for us would include that university grant that we went over a little bit earlier.
So when we're looking at your income, and again, we're looking at both taxable and untaxable income, once we have those figures, we start making allowances, and we make allowances for things such as the income taxes that you pay. We look to see what is your family size, where you live in the country. Other things that you could let us know about is medical expenses, and if you pay any tuition for any younger siblings that are in private school. So we make all of these allowances against the income, and then that new number is what we use in our formula for EFC.
Now, as I mentioned, we also take into consideration assets. So the assets that we include are cash, savings, and checking accounts, any type of investments or trusts, real estate equity, home equity, or any type of business or farm equity as well. The one thing that we do not take into consideration are any retirement funds that are in a designated retirement account, such as a 401k or an IRA. Some of the forms that you will be filling out will actually ask how much you have in a retirement account. Just to make it clear, we don't take that into consideration. It's just that we like to ask those questions so parents do not lump their retirement accounts as an asset, so they don't include it within their cash or their savings account. That's the reason why we ask those specific questions. And as we make allowances for income, we also have a protection for assets. So we look at the age of the eldest parent, and we look at how near they are to retirement, and we protect a certain percentage of their assets. So we're not taking into account the full 100% of the assets. We take a small percentage of that as well, based upon the age of the eldest parent.
One thing also you want to keep in mind, parents, is that if you have multiple students who will be working towards an undergraduate degree, we take that into consideration. So it actually helps you with regards to your EFC. We will divide it depending on where the second sibling is attending. Things to note is that parents who are enrolled in college or siblings that are pursuing a graduate degree, we don't take those things into consideration. So they have to be siblings working towards an undergraduate degree.
To determine how much aid you may be eligible for, you and your parents will be required to complete the following application steps. Step 1, complete the 2015-16 CSS Profile application or the Need Access application. Either application, along with your FAFSA information, will help determine your eligibility for university financial aid. Submit either form prior to February 13, 2015. Step 2. Complete the 2015-16 free application for federal student aid, which is known as the FAFSA. The FAFSA determines your eligibility for the federal direct Stafford loan as well as for federal and state grants. The FAFSA is available after January 2nd of 2015. Step 3. USC may also ask you to submit additional information from your tax returns, from non-custodial parents if applicable, and business or corporate tax returns. All of these will help us give a complete picture of your family's financial strength and will ensure you receive the most aid you are eligible for. When you apply for financial aid, be sure to keep track of deadlines and submit any required forms and information by those dates. If you apply on time and submit necessary information within the 10 business days, we can ensure that you will receive an award summary a few days after your acceptance letter has been sent. Our goal is to give your family at least 3 weeks to review the award summary and have a conversation with us if you have any questions before the national commitment deadline of May 1st, 2015.
Like Jessica mentioned, you'll be using your My Financial Aid and Documents account to upload your tax information as well as submit your non-filing statement. So let's now visit the financial aid website. So if you go to usc.edu/financial aid, you will see this screen. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see My Financial Aid and Documents.
Click on New Undergraduate and Graduate Students and follow the link to log in.
Now let's visit the financial aid website once again. If you have any questions on how to submit documents, we do have a tutorial available for you to watch.
Now we're going to discuss how to apply for a Cal Grant. So this is only for California residents who have graduated from a California high school. In order to apply for the Cal Grant, you first and foremost want to submit the FAFSA. And again, we went over that, so you would submit that on fafsa.ed.gov. The next thing that you need to submit is your Cal Grant GPA verification form. You're going to do this directly with your high school college counselor. So they're going to have to either give you a form, or some counselors prefer to do it electronically where you wouldn't have to submit anything. But basically your high school will verify what your GPA is and send that off to the California Student Aid Commission. So what we would recommend is that you specifically speak to your college counselor at your high school and figure out exactly how they are going to be submitting the Cal Grant GPA verification form for their students.
Within the financial aid office, we have something called special circumstances. And we know that by filling out these two applications, meaning the FAFSA and CSS profile, sometimes there's other things that we want to take into consideration that maybe questions on those forms don't address. So please contact our office. Draft a letter if anything at all comes up that will hinder your ability to be able to manage any educational expenses. Here are just some examples: a loss of a job, a decrease in salary, death or serious illness in a family, change in your housing plans from one school year to the next. So anything that's going to reduce the family's ability to pay for educational expenses, we want to know about. So please draft a letter and submit this to the financial aid office.
Now we're going to go ahead and discuss the net price calculator, which is also known as NPC. So all institutions that are receiving some form of federal student aid are required to have an NPC on their website. Our specific USC NPC is located on the Planning for USC section of the financial aid website for undergraduate students. This tool may help you to plan for the cost of attending USC and to determine the amount of gift aid, which can include federal, state, and university aid, that you might be eligible to receive based on your individual circumstances. So what you're going to do is go onto our website, answer about 20 questions, and you would receive what the net price of attendance would be for your specific family. What we do is we take the cost of attendance, we subtract the median estimated grant or gift aid, which again can be a combination of federal, state, and university aid, and what that gives the family is a net price of attendance. And you want to make sure that you keep in mind that this is an estimate. It's not a financial aid award letter that is handed out to each specific family. It is just an estimate on what the net price of attendance would be based upon the answers that you submitted.
Managing your expected family contribution. So your EFC is not a figure that we expect families to pay out in one lump sum. Because of this, we have a few different options for you to take advantage of. First one being a tuition payment plan, which we'll go over in the next slide. Tuition prepayment plan Federal Direct Parent Plus loan, and student private financing. So let's go over the payment plans. Tuition is charged on a semester basis. Once all your financial aid credits your student account, you'll be able, the remaining amount, to set that portion of the bill up in a monthly payment plan. The semester is broken up into 5 months. This payment plan is a 0% interest. There is a small application fee to participate, but you would be able to set this up. Once you do, you pay the first month's payment as well as the $50 application fee. And after that, you can either have each payment pulled directly from a credit card or a bank account, or you can log in each month and make your monthly payment.
The university also offers a tuition prepayment plan, which allows you to prepay 2 to 5 years of full-time tuition and mandatory fees for students who have been admitted to the university. The prepayment plan will stabilize the tuition at the current year's rate. Payment of tuition and mandatory fees will automatically be credited to the student's account each semester. Any funds that are unused due to early graduation or a student leaving USC will be refunded.
So more information about the payment plan and tuition prepayment, you can visit the usc.edu/SFS for Student Financial Services.
The next payment option available is the Federal Direct Parent Plus loan. This loan is in the name of the parent. It is given out by, again, the federal government. The benefits of this loan is that it does have a fixed interest rate for the lifetime of the loan. So that interest will not go up and it will not decrease for the lifetime of that loan. To be eligible for the Federal Direct Parent Plus loan, you need to submit the FAFSA. You will go through a credit check. As long as there's nothing seriously adverse on your credit history, you should be eligible for this loan. There's no minimum FICO score or there's no debt to income ratio. Also with this loan, you can borrow up to the full cost of attendance, less the financial aid received. Now, repayments begin once the loan has been dispersed to the university, but you do have the option to defer those payments until your son or daughter does graduate, but the interest will continue to accrue, and it starts accruing as soon as the loan is dispersed to the university. And we give a little bit more information in regards to the payment plans and Federal Direct Parent Plus loan during student orientation. Now, both Andrea and I would like to thank you for joining us today, and these are just a few tips that we would like you to follow. Make sure you apply as soon as possible. Do not wait until you have received your admission decision to complete your financial aid application. Also, you want to make sure to meet all deadlines and submit any supplemental documentation that we may ask for. And then thirdly, please make sure that you communicate any type of special circumstances directly with our office. So go ahead and give us a call, send us an email, come in person and actually speak to us, but make sure that you do communicate those special circumstances to our office to see if we can take those into consideration when we are creating that financial aid award letter. And then lastly, never pay anyone to help you apply for financial aid. You're more than welcome to contact our office directly if you have any questions in regards to the application process. And our contact information is listed on the slide above. You can call us by phone. You can come in and actually speak to a counselor in our lobby area. We are available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or you are also more than welcome to go ahead and shoot us an email as well. And again, thank you so much for joining us, and fight on.